What's good, YouTube? Today we're back with another market watch, and the first thing here is that Dogoran is up, and we see it's actually at the lowest point at $4 here on eBay with people who want to sell it now. All three of these are brand new listings, and actually all the low ones are brand new listings. It spiked a couple days ago, and I wanted to see where the fallout would be, and the fallout seems to be around $4. As you see, almost everything down here is a new listing that is this low, and then we see it at you know, the 450 range, which isn't so bad. And we actually see very similarly at 422 here on TCG Player, followed by the Mega Pack version. So core first at near mint 422. The Mega Pack lowest near mint is 550, and you see a quote-unquote norm of $2. And I don't think this has been up that long, but it still seems to switch. And I've noticed that that's been switching faster with some cards than others, which is really interesting. So I want to kind of keep a look at what that means with TCG Player. But overall, I think 4-ish will be the norm. I expect it to spike back under for a little bit, as happens with raised prices, and then to even out at about 4 to 5. It's very similar to Gamma Seal in the upcoming format, in that a lot of decks will be playing this, mainly anything with Overraptor that can search a Dogoran, but it was seeing play in other Zoo decks that were playing the Kaiju Engine / Infernoids that were playing this. It's level matters, and I think we'll continue to like watch this card, but I think this is the price it will even out at. I don't think it will bottom out too much lower than this. You should never ignore a searchable Kaiju in your deck. So if you're playing dinosaurs, I screamed this while it was $2 over and over and over in Market Watch. Overraptor can search this card. You need to at least be side decking it if you have dinos. Another card that I actually talked about once that didn't go up directly because of that, and I waited for it to spike, as you see the quote-unquote norm is $15, is Cosmic Cyclone. This is good against true Dracos. It removes the trap for good out of the graveyard or the spell, and they won't get any of their graveyard effects, / Masterpiece won't be able to remove any spell that you would be hitting with Cosmic Cyclone. Basically, it helps restrict the resources that they have moving forward, but it permanently takes care of whatever it is without destroying it because you are banishing. So it's just a very good piece of spell and trap removal, as always. And even though we're rushing towards the Megatons, I would say that it deserves this price for now, and the Megatons will eventually cool it off. But we're in regionals and national season, and I don't expect until, I would say, about the week before nationals / the week of nationals for it to start dipping back down when people can't get cards shipped in anymore. I would then expect this to start to slowly trickle down, but we may see it continue to go up before that for national season. And over here we see very similarly, the lowest is actually from Canada here. So let's find the lowest USA. It just seems to be completely bought out once again, which is odd because so many vendors had held on to this card, and now we see German, and it's just almost gone, right? Almost any US seller. So if you want to be one of the only US sellers on eBay, go ahead and list yours. As you see, this is pretty crazy. I actually refreshed and I didn't see that. That's really crazy. So it almost completely bought out here on eBay, but plenty of listers ready, I believe, here. Oh yeah, TCG lowest here with 50. They've been going really ham in these market watches in terms of quantity. It's just really interesting to see how many cards they have. Naturia Beast, another card that I screamed from the rooftops, is still up on all versions, but as we see, this was still 30 to 32 accessible. You see the market price of 31.39. You could still buy them for 32. Now you can only buy a DT for 42, and every other version is about above 5. Even the slowest rarity, P Gold 2, is near mint about 5. Now, here's something people ask me. John, why do you show off light played during Market Watch? You know you can change the settings. Well, on cards like this that are an extra deck card, it doesn't really matter too much what the condition is. you could go for a light plate on a Naturia Beast, and it's just as good. So I like to show that off, especially because of extra deck cards. So I never really changed my settings, because it should be noted that extra deck card prices at light plate are very feasible to go buy if you're on a budget. Like, if I needed a Naturia Beast, I'd gladly take this light play one over a near mint, personally. But a lot of people like their cards to be nice and mint, and for reselling, it matters a lot. It just depends on what you want to do with it. But every single version of the Naturia Beast is still up overall. The lowest you're finding them is at about 5. But the main thing here is the DT spiking up an extra $10. And we see it also on eBay, the near mint, at about the $40 mark. So you can get it a little cheaper on eBay. And it's nice to see during this market watch that there's a little back and forth throughout the market watch, as we'll show you. Between eBay and TCG Player once again. It had been starting to side back with the eBay, but it looks like TCG Player's been fighting on back on them prices. Trishula is another one that has vexed me. There was actually a seller yesterday, and it's really odd that they disappeared, with 40 quantity at like $83.48. And he had them all listed on eBay too, and they're all suddenly off the market. I think he pulled them himself rather than them selling. But it was driving the price down to this range because there were not many under him. And now that there's quite a few, including M. Cole Games, hey, Robbie Cole, being the lowest listed DT here. But there weren't too many under 90, and they it seemed like a lot of them were going down to meet his price, and all of a sudden he's pulled out. But with his quantity of 40, it just goes back to that fact that DT04 was put on quote-unquote clearance by Konami for dual terminal machines, and people just nabbed it on up, and Trishula is the main sale ticket out of there. But it's just interesting to see it lower this much, down to where Robbie Cole's willing to take the fees and sell it at $80. And we see similarly on eBay, 85. So Robbie helping TCG be the lowest price here, because the next lowest is 86. And then we see it quickly rise to 90 here. It did not care as much, but the listing was here on eBay also, and it's gone. And if we go to sold listings, there are actual sales of this version. We see 80, 82, 84, 84, 85. Actually, 1 minute, that's not proper. Let's go to in-date recent first. 84, 85, looks like this really cool DT Enterprise case little collection. Well, this guy got a deal. That's 80 plus 60 right there alone, last I knew. I bet Brio's down past that, though. 82, 89. Let's actually look real quick. Brionic. DT. I don't know when my caps lock is on. Yeah, he's way down. 40. So that seemed about standard. This is pretty crazy, though. And if you were hoping Trishula would be cheaper because of Duelist Saga, I guess I spoilers on what's next. Trishula is about $20 for the Duelist Saga version, interestingly enough. It did not cool into the price at all. Almost every version has retained value overall. You see 22.30 versus the quote-unquote 24 market price from before. And here the secret rare from High Speed Riders is actually chilling it a little above what its market price was. So heading back up, and the ulti is just chilling where it almost always has at 50. So it's just really interesting to see the DT tanking right now comparative to its market price, the highest rarity yet. As a whole, Trishula is just chilling at 20 plus on all fronts. So if you were hoping the Duel Saga was going to cool the price a little, it just is not. It's pretty crazy. Now, Atlantean Dragoons, the reason I bring this up is the Ultimate doesn't have many copies on market, period. We see these are the only sellers, which are actually quite a few for the price. No Limit, oddly, being more expensive here. Usually they're one of the cheapest. With 5 quantity, holding the back, I guess, prices, waiting for it to go up. Because there's only 9 here, which is 3 total playsets on all the market. And there's only 2 sellers, and one's at 70 here. That's pretty insane. So TCG Player again fighting back here, being the cheapest on a high rarity card. But back to $60 each. Dragoons, you never fail to come back into some kind of hyper relevance. This is crazy to me. I personally think that it's just a matter of quantity available versus the people that are listing them. But it's, I guess you'd be hard pressed to be able to find someone that would say, yeah, I'll give you a set for 150 versus 180. Like, if you go to a vendor in person, perhaps, because they would avoid the fees of selling online, which is typically about 10 to 12%, and then, you know, some shipping, which would be tracked on these. So you might be able to find a vendor who is listing these that might sell these, but it's really surprising to see No Limit Gaming back here at 70. It's pretty insane. So was it recently bought out? Let's look at sold listings. I'm on Best Match. April 19th, April 19th. So yes, recently sold at 70. Wow. And recently sold at 60, sold at 65, sold at 60. So it looks like the sales are going through at 60. Pretty crazy stuff in my opinion. I just did not expect that one. And I do not know why this is Abyss Lin. This is supposed to be Abyss T Us. The ulti is sitting pretty at 30 solid once again. And the ultra at about 23. It's just interesting to note that the lowest on market here is 29. There's only one before it rises to 30, so you can get a deal on one, and I think that's unlimited. And it just doesn't matter if it's first or not though with TS. It's really weird, right? That the prices are so dead even. It just doesn't make sense on a card like this. But we see on eBay as well. A lot of people have the wrong stock picture, but they should be ultis. $30 seems to be the norm here too. Italian, but it quickly rises comparatively on eBay compared to TCG Player. Like, you can get an entire set here in the $30 range on TCG Player, whereas you can't on eBay. But Hollowed Out Water just seems to really keep its price. So if you're ever wanting to trade and you're like trying to unload a meta deck you think is going to go down, Hollowed Out Water is not one of the worst options to go for if you can find somebody letting it go. It's just kind of one of those things to keep in the back of your head, like this always comes back into season, it seems, or stays up there. So, and that's this year when you're unloading and somebody's got a water deck there that they're letting go, and they actually want your meta deck that's gonna go. Maybe this is what to go for. Glow Up Bulb is just the final card that I wanted to talk about. It just never seems to go down. And it's really interesting. I figured with the Premium Gold 2 price that it would be down from when I last featured it. But it's actually at that almost $8 range, even for the Premium Gold. And the ulti is just staying up here. We'll actually get into that. The ultimate is $23. I think last time I featured it, the ulti was actually up higher than this, so it's nice to see it settle down. We see the normal at 24, so people are just wanting to sell them. Adam Corn here with the lowest near mint once again. Then Pastimes, and then we see a lot of familiar names in here, but it's just interesting to see a card like this just retain value when it doesn't have too much relevance or any to the meta right now. It's just kind of a show that it's one of those cards that's really stable. And again, maybe something to trade for as we head in towards Megaton season, when you are wanting to unload cards. And I think I'm going to start stressing that more, showing towards the end of Market Watch is just cards that seem to keep value real well. And as we see, it's actually way higher on eBay, 27, 27, 28 quickly, into 30. I just want to stress, like, cards that kind of keep value, because a lot of you guys are going to be unloading your decks as Megatons head forward. So cards to kind of trade for, not necessarily buy, are what I want to feature. And we see that the lowest glow up bulbs that are English are $9 a P Gold here. So actually much cheaper on TCG Player once again. So this is just a reminder, always check both. I often get in my comment sections, of course TCG Player is higher. TCG Player is ridiculous, never buy on TCG Player. Nah. Please stop that. I know it's independent sellers on TCG Player, but a lot of them are really good, stable names. So you have a reason to always be checking back because you are saving money. Don't just take blind advice like that. Always think for yourself and always look as many options as you have. Thanks for watching. Give this a thumbs up if you enjoyed this market watch, and let me know what you thought about what I was featuring today. I know some of it might not be changing too much, such as the Mermails and the Glow Up, but I do want to kind of like hover around them towards Megaton season.